What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Patriots franchise. Second episode here in the live stream series. If you are new, definitely be sure to check out the first episode. It is on the playlist for the New England Patriots franchise on my channel, Mr. Primetime. So be sure to subscribe to the channel. You can do it easily if you're watching right now by clicking on my Mr. Primetime logo in the bottom right corner of the screen to get to the stream. All right, so we are going to take a little bit of time here just to allow the stream to fill up. So until then, the chat is open. Definitely to ask me some questions, just general talk. I'm wide open here to talk about whatever we want. So definitely feel free. Just going to put out a little chat message here for anyone filing in here to watch. All right. So we'll give it a few more minutes. I think I was pretty much right on time. And I'm also just going to do a quick couple of quick posts here on the social media to let any followers know we are live now on the channel. And so what the plan is for tonight here is to, we'll probably just go over really quick, just a brief recap of what happened in free agency, mainly related to our team, the Patriots here, and just kind of going over where the roster stands here at this point after free agency has concluded. And just kind of going over what I am, thinking our biggest needs are as we look forward to the draft here tonight. And again, this is going to be a true to life draft class, if you will. It may not be, perfect, of course, but it is like a, downloaded draft class that will include real college players that will be entering the NFL this year. Of course, the headline there being Trevor Lawrence, but other guys like other quarterbacks, Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, receivers like Jamar Chase, the Heisman winner Devontae Smith, Kyle Pitts, the tight end out of Florida, and so on and so forth. So that's what we will be looking at is, a pretty true to life draft class here. And so my hopes are the stream will probably be somewhere around an hour and a half to 2 hours long at the most, just depending on where things go. But my plans are definitely, of course, to go through the entire NFL draft. And then secondly, probably to, after the draft is over, just kind of go through draft, recapping the draft a little bit in terms of what other teams may have done. Specifically, probably, to our division is where we'll really highlight on that regard. And then from there, I'll probably head to the preseason, set the kind of the preseason depth chart, make maybe a few signings to fill out the roster. And then I think my plan will be to simulate through the preseason, game to game. That probably shouldn't take too long, really. And then from there, depending on where we are with time, I think my plan is to play week 1 live for you guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can do with this team in the draft. So obviously the big question right now is, as you can see from the title of the stream today, can we secure a quarterback of the future here with this draft? And if we can't, what are we going to do? As I mentioned, I'll kind of go through this as we go through the free agency recap, but there are still a couple of solid veterans out there in the free agency, and I had tried to make an ad with Josh Rosen to get him on the roster, mainly as a potential, still young quarterback with upside, but he never rejected or accepted the offer. So not really sure what happened with that and what the reason was there, but yeah, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes things like that happen. All right, so we'll give it maybe another minute, and then we're gonna kind of get into the stream here. Go through the team, quick recap on free agency for what happened, and then maybe go through the draft class a little bit. Kind of set up my, board. Let you know what I think this team needs, what I'm going to be looking to address here with our draft picks, and then the big moment will arrive. We will begin the draft. So again, for real quick as well, for anyone that is currently watching, be sure to leave chats as we go through the stream tonight. Let me know what you think of the moves I end up making, or as we kind of go through, even before things happen, let me know, what guys we should look at here in the draft, what positions we should be looking for to improve. Just overall thoughts, comments. Would love to hear and get feedback on everything as we go live through. So definitely don't be shy here in the chat. And also, if you're here watching, definitely be sure to leave a like on the video here on the stream. Likes do help the channel grow and reach more people out there in the YouTube universe. So definitely be sure to smash that like button, as that will greatly help me. And if you haven't already, if you're a new person tuning in, or if you haven't already and you've watched a couple of my, the streams from before, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can, stay on track, follow, this series we have going as we move forward with it, and just, overall any content and stuff that I will be doing. So, and then, if you really want to know anytime I go live or have a video available, make sure to turn on the bell notifications, bell icon that you can click to get notifications if you do want to receive those, from YouTube whenever I go live, announce a stream, post a video, etc., etc. So definitely be sure to hit that. And again, you can hit subscribe right there on my Mr. Primetime logo in the bottom right-hand corner. If you click on that, it'll allow you to basically quick subscribe to the channel. All right, the plug is over. Let's get to the stream, folks. Let's get to the stream. So, I think right now what we'll do is we'll start off with just a quick recap of free agency. Kind of let you know what other teams did, what we did. So here is what we were able to do in free agency. So our big ticket item was Corey Davis. We signed him, as you can see there, to a 4-year, $50.5 million contract from Tennessee. So we add a bona fide number 1 receiver to this New England depth chart. And then really from there, a couple other things didn't really work out. So we kind of mainly just added some veterans here to help out with the current state of the team. So mainly we needed another pass rusher to go with Chase Winovich. So I went and got Jerry Hughes over from Buffalo to a 1-year contract at $6.5 million. We added K'Wan Short, as we basically let almost everyone go at DT. And so K'Wan Short is one of our other veteran adds that we've made. He'll kind of serve more of a pass rushing role as a defensive tackle. At kicker, we did let Nick Folk walk and bring in a younger option. I was looking for a bigger leg, and so a guy that could develop over time into a really good kicker, and that was Joey Sly, who surprisingly was available from Carolina. So we add him on a 2-year, $3.5 million contract. And then we added a second defensive tackle, younger guy here, DJ Jones, 26 years old. He's going to be more of our run stopper at DT to pair up with K'Wan Short. And then lastly, at tight end, we added Jacob Hollister. I'm really not sure what his role is going to be. I think tight end's one of those positions we still could possibly address in the draft. I don't really know, though, for sure, because the Patriots did draft Devin Asiasi and Dalton Keene in 2020. They really didn't provide much of an impact. Both are 66 overall players here as we head into the next season, and Hollister will be better than them at a 72 overall, and we did give him a 1-year, $4.5 million deal. So in terms of money, he is going to be our highest paid tight end. So could mean he's the starter. We'll see what happens there, though. But you know, he used to play on the Patriots. He was traded to the Seahawks, played a couple years there, and became a free agent. We brought him back. So that is what we were able to do with free agency so far. Definitely probably still more to come post-draft, I think, or pre-season, if you will. All right, so really quick, here's what happened around the league. So we'll only go over the main highlights. And as I mentioned in my last stream, right off the top here, I did go in and edit the Colin Kaepernick contract and overall to make him more as in line as a backup. So I did adjust him to a 69 overall and readjusted his contract. The Jets signed him to just a 1-year, $1 million deal with no guarantees, because I honestly feel that would be a pretty realistic contract if anyone were to actually sign him. So just wanted to make note of that I did go through to do that. No other really big QB signings. Just a bunch of low-rated guys here. I'm not even sure if any of the guys are technically backups here. A few might be, but yeah, not really much else at QB that happened in free agency. At halfback, the big one was Marlon Mack. He got a big 5-year, $41.8 million deal from Houston to be their new feature back. Philip Lindsay leaves Denver to go to Miami. Kenyon Drake leaves Arizona to the Jets. James Conner lands a deal with Oakland, Las Vegas, where he'll actually serve as the backup to Josh Jacobs. James White signs a deal with Arizona, so he leaves us. We kind of did let him go, let him walk, and he will now be a Cardinal, joining with Chase Edmonds there. David Johnson does re-up with the Texans, so they bring him back and Marlon Mack on board. No other big running back signings here, so we'll go to fullback. Fullback's not really the most important, so nothing really that mattered much here. Receiver, a couple of big names moving over to new teams. The top guys available were Will Fuller. He heads off to the Baltimore Ravens, who desperately needed a number 1 receiver. They get one right there with Will Fuller. And also with the Ravens, they did also sign Sammy Watkins, who will presumptively be maybe the 2 or 3, depending on what they do with Marquise Brown. I think, to me, Marquise Brown would be your 3, or your 2. Watkins would be more of your 3 at his, as he's now getting a little older. So Ravens make a big splash with a couple wide receivers. Kenny Galladay. So we tried to get him first before Corey Davis, but he spurned us to go replace Corey Davis in Tennessee and team up with A.J. Brown there to give them a pretty impressive 1-2 punch. And then Juju Smith-Schuster goes to Detroit to, in essence, replace Kenny Galladay. So kind of a wide receiver like Roundtree there a little bit. And then we have couple other guys to note here. Tyrell Williams goes to Miami. Tim Patrick to Las Vegas. Nelson Aguilar joins Juju in Detroit as they remake their receiving core. No one else really here of note. Tight end Gronk leaves the defending champ Tampa Bay Buccaneers to go to division rival Carolina. Jonnu Smith leaves Tennessee. He's off to Cincinnati to catch passes from Joe Burrow. And then Trey Burton goes to the Texans. All right, left tackle, a few guys here. Notable, Russell Okung goes to Washington. Cam Robinson goes to the San Diego. Man, how many times am I going to keep doing that? The Los Angeles Chargers. And Alejandro Villanueva leaves Pittsburgh to go to Indy to replace the retired Anthony Costanzo. Left guard, a couple guys here. Kelechi Osemele goes to Carolina. Matt Filer to LA Chargers. And Forrest Lamp to Las Vegas. At center, Alex Mack, who was probably the best overall lineman available, goes to Miami. He kind of replaces Mike Pouncey, who goes to Denver. And a couple other guys here at center. At guard, the big ticket was Laurent Duvernay-Tardif. He goes to Baltimore. And then John Feliciano, I guess, goes to Arizona. Brian Winters to Miami. No one really here at right tackle. At end, Olivier Vernon was one of the better pass rushers available. He goes to Arizona. Derek Wolfe goes to Cleveland. William Golston, Baltimore again. John Simon, who was a Patriot that we let go, elected not to re-sign him. He gets a one-year deal with Kansas City, defending AFC champs. At the other end, real quick, Melvin Ingram. We had put in a bid for him, but he chose Buffalo, so he's off to the Bills. Carl Lawson goes to Seattle. They much needed pass rusher for them. And Trey Hendrickson leaves New Orleans to Baltimore. And Ndamukong Suh leaves the defending champs. He goes to Cincinnati. Shelby Harris to Jacksonville. Justin Houston goes to Arizona. Lawrence Guy, who we let also walk, goes to Tampa Bay. Alden Smith to Baltimore. And a few other guys here. So back to DT. Not really much. A bunch of veterans here. Gerald McCoy to New York Giants. Sheldon Rankins was probably the best guy, really, to me there. He goes to Minnesota. Jonathan Hankins to Tampa Bay. Snacks goes to Denver. Almost said Baltimore. Then Solomon Thomas to the Cincinnati Bengals. Daquan Jones to Tampa. Adam Butler, who we let walk off of our team. He's off to the Chargers. And there we have it there. Another guy we really wanted to get. He was probably right up there with Kenny Galladay as one of my most sought after players here. But Hassan Reddick chose to go to Cincinnati over us. And a couple other guys here. Nothing really of note. At middle linebacker, Levante David, another Tampa Bay Buccaneer, leaving to go elsewhere. He joins Detroit. Again, in the last stream said, not sure why you would leave that type of situation to go there. But hey, Dante Hightower, who we did sort of look to bring back, but I didn't do it aggressively. So he ended up hitting the market, and then I honestly just really didn't look to really bring him back and just decided to move on, and he goes to Cleveland. Jayon Brown goes to Cincinnati, and then Jordan Hicks to Baltimore, Reuben Foster to the Giants. Devondre Campbell, who I then tried to pivot to, he goes to Carolina. And off to right outside, Yannick Ngakoue goes to the Jets, who get a much-needed pass rusher. Samson Ebukam goes to Baltimore. Damian Wilson to Carolina. Alex Anzalone, who we had some interest in, gets a pretty nice deal. 4 years, $25.9 from Cleveland. So they get big. They go big at running linebacker there. And at corner, a couple of big names. Shaquille Griffin, the top guy, he goes to Jacksonville on a nice contract. Desmond King goes to Cincinnati to replace the guy right below him here, William Jackson, who goes to the Jets. And then a couple of nickel corners here. Justin Coleman to Buffalo. Nickel Roby-Coleman to Carolina. Malcolm Butler, interestingly, joins Seattle. We all know why that's interesting. Desmond Trufant goes to Vegas. And then LaMarcus Joyner, Houston. Jordan Lewis, Tennessee. Michael Davis, Detroit. And then a bunch of depth players. At safety, Marcus Williams, the former Saint. 24 years old. Kind of in his prime. He's a really good player. 84 overall star. He gets a big deal with the Jets. 5 years, $45.7 million. Earl Thomas returns to football. After a year off, he goes to the Chargers on a 3-year deal. Anthony Harris returns to Minnesota. Deron Harmon, who's a former Patriot, but he left the Lions to go to Las Vegas. And then he gets replaced right here by Demarius Randall. And the only other notable name, Clinton Dix off to Jacksonville. Strong safety, Marcus May was the best one available there. He leaves the Jets to go to Carolina. Keanu O'Neal also off to Jacksonville, so a couple new safeties there for the Jags. Tony Jefferson kind of replaces Marcus May. Interestingly, I feel like Jefferson's been around for way longer, but he is the same age as Marcus May, so that's kind of interesting. And Carl Joseph to Tampa. Here are some kickers. Nick Folk goes to LA. Nothing really else there. And so, yeah, there's your free agency recap. So real quick on who's still available. So here were the QBs that did not get signed. So a lot of, much more better, solid veterans here. And even some young players such as Haskins, Rosen, who I tried to get, like I mentioned. Taysom Hill's out there if you feel like going that route. Guys like Kyle Allen, who's 25. Jacoby Brissett can be a nice backup. Nick Mullins. And then you got your potential stopgap players here. And Fitzpatrick, Andy Dalton. And then there's Cam Newton and Jameis Winston, who are the top of the QB class here. All right, and then here's some running backs still available. This was probably the position that had the most, dumbfounding, reason why so many guys are available. There's a lot of decent running backs out here. I'm not going to go through and name a lot of the names. You can see them here, but just a lot of surprising non-additions here after the first stage of free agency. Receiver, definitely some guys here too, like Antonio Brown, T.Y. Hilton, Marvin Jones, that can still have roles. Kendrick Bourne, who's only 26, a 77 overall. Demarcus Robinson, and Rashad Higgins, a couple other guys there. So I think a lot of these guys will get picked up after the draft. At tight end, here's a few names. Big ones to me were Gerald Everett, that was surprising, and a couple of veterans that are still, starting-ish caliber. Jared Cook and Jordan Reed. Linemen, there really wasn't much. Maybe just Iupati and F-line here. A couple other depth options. Darrell Williams was probably the biggest notable guy, and then Marcus Cannon, who we cut, never got picked up. So a lot of older, kind of aging linemen, though. Defensive end. A couple of older, aging veterans again here. The most surprising one, though, was Geno Atkins. Still serviceable, star development. A couple ends that were surprising here. A couple of, not so old guys. Randy Gregory, Dietrich Wise, who we let walk, remained available. A couple of still younger options here. Linebacker Tyus Bowser was another one of the most surprising non-free agent signings. 26 years old, a 75 overall speed rusher. He definitely could be picked up by a team looking for an edge player. And then middle linebacker. A couple of veterans. A couple guys at outside linebacker. At corner, Sidney Jones, a 25-year-old corner with a 79 overall. That was interesting that he did not get picked up. Garyon Conley as well, 26 years old, a 78 overall. And Charvarius Ward, 25 at 77. So a lot of still really good corners available for any cornerback needy teams following the draft. Not really many notable names at safety. Eric Reed's probably the biggest standout name there, I guess. Eric Berry. Unfortunately, he's seen his better days, but was an elite player. Same thing with Rashad Jones. And yeah, also a lot of kickers and punters kind of went unsigned. So that is kind of where things stand in terms of free agency. So now let's just go quickly over to our team and see what these Patriots are looking like here as we get ready to go to the draft. So right now, yeah, Jarrett Stidham's the lone QB on the roster. So it's probably the biggest storyline here as we develop further into the stream tonight. See what we're going to do here at the quarterback position. It will definitely be addressed, I can say that for sure. Whether that's drafting somebody tonight or going back and making a veteran add in the free agency. Running back, I feel like we're in a pretty nice spot here. We may add another body via the draft or in free agency after the draft, but I like where we stand. Fullback, I think we'll probably still add another receiver. Not sure via draft or again free agency, but I feel decent about this top three now that we've added Corey Davis. And I also feel really good about like the top three here and their size. Like everyone is 6'2" or better. So I like that we have like kind of our bigger body possession guy. We kind of have our like, legit #1 receiver. Maybe not a top end #1, but he still is young. Has time to develop. But he is definitely, a legitimate, #1 receiver on a team. And then you have Matt Myers, who's kind of a, bigger slot guy because, excuse me, doesn't have the biggest speed rating here. So, all right, tight end. So obviously we added Hollister, and then we got kind of a returning veteran in Izzo, but he has virtually no speed, so he's kind of fighting for a roster spot at this point. And then we got the guys that were drafted last year. They're both the same overall. And honestly, based on their age and both being normal dev, I think Keene probably has the best chance to develop long term. He's also got the better size and speed and hands. So really, I honestly don't know what holds him back in terms of him versus Asiasi that puts them on the same level, to be quite honest. Maybe blocking. Asiasi does look like he's the better blocker, but interesting nonetheless. All right, the line is where we're really pretty good. We've got Isaiah Wynn, Michael Onwenu, David Andrews, who just re-signed with us, Shaq Mason, and Tooney. So 3 of these guys are just, recently under new deals or, have several years left. And then we got a guy in a rookie deal with 3 more years on it. And then Wynn, who we just picked up his 5th-year option. So he's got another 2 years still on his rookie deal. So we're looking really good at the offensive line. We're really just pretty much, looking for depth. So probably our least needy position. So this probably won't be something I'll be looking into for the draft. On a defensive end, we got a veteran and, a guy kind of not, a young rookie, but kind of in between. So we're probably going to look to still address pass rush. DT as well, I think. We kind of basically picked up some stopgap options there. At linebacker, we got a couple of young guys on the outside, so especially Yuchi, I like to see how he continues to develop. And then in the middle, we got young guys, but no one that's a real standout. So not really much standing out at linebacker, but a lot of youth that just needs to develop. So hopefully we can make that happen. At corner, this is probably after offensive line our next least need. We just re-signed, or we actually tagged J.C. Jackson, so he'll be back for at least the next season. Gilmore's got 1 more year left on his deal. We did look into trading him, but no offers were anywhere near good. And then we still have Jonathan Jones at nickel, Joan Johnson, a young guy, and then a couple of depths. So that's definitely our second least need heading into the draft. And safety's probably right behind it. I mean, we have Duggar and Chung here, and then we've still got McCourty and Phillips here. Like, we're pretty good. We probably could use maybe one younger option to look forward into the future. Kicker will be good, and Jake Bailey's a great punter. So there's the team. That's kind of where how things look at the moment. And here are our draft picks. So we have one pick in every round with an extra 6, I guess, from Dallas, from some kind of a trade that the Patriots made with them at some point, I guess. All right. So yeah, that's kind of where we are looking. We'll have the 15th overall pick in the first round. All right, so I think it's time to get into the draft, folks. So for everyone out there watching here live, if you see my chat, now's the time to let me know what you think. What should we look to address here as we get ready to begin the draft? Shall we look into quarterback first overall? It's possible. Do we look maybe pass rush? Definitely a possibility. See, I think receiver is still on the table. Tight end still on the table. Defensive tackle, linebacker. So let's go ahead and enter the draft room. I won't let things start yet. How I usually like to
on the clock.
Run the draft is this. I like to keep it paused and basically just advance pick by pick at our own discretion. So obviously the Jags will be on the clock first. And so let's just go ahead and take a look and get familiar with the class. So again, it's a real life class meant to mimic the real NFL upcoming, rookie class. So if we are to go attack the quarterback position, here's who we have available. Obviously, to me, unless we trade up, we're not getting these two. So we're probably looking at these three if we address the position in the first round. If any of them happen to fall to the second, that would be amazing. We would probably look to jump on that. Otherwise, there's not a ton of other draftable quarterbacks really here. So it's a pretty limited class if we're looking to come away with a franchise QB, to be honest. So here are our running backs. So let me just go ahead and really quick, I'm going to add just the QBs here on the draft board, at least those three. All right, so here's our running backs. Not a position we're probably looking to draft all that early. It'll be interesting to see where these two guys go because they're the clear top two in the class. But if we were to look at it later, some guys I would like would be someone like Kylan Hill, maybe like a Javian Hawkins. He could possibly be like a James White replacement. So Jarrett Patterson as well are guys I would consider. Fullback, not really going to have much interest there. At receiver, so there's a lot of talent here at receiver that I think we could probably come away with at least one selection here. Maybe someone like Amari Rodgers from Clemson. If we're looking for more of a slot guy, like a traditional slot guy. Maybe someone like Jalen Darden, who I know has got wheels. So, yeah, I think this is a position we may come away with somebody at. I don't think it's going to be at the top, though, but we'll see how the draft plays out. Tight ends, I think if Kyle Pitts fell to 15, I would take a long, hard look at that because I think he's gonna be and is one of the best prospects in the class in terms of what his overall will be and what his potential is. So, and as you can see, tight end looking pretty thin, to be honest with you. So it's not a position that's going to have a lot of chance to address in the draft here. So if we do look to the second middle rounds, maybe some guy like, Brevin Jordan, Kenny Yeboah, or Hunter Long, Jake Ferguson could be in consideration. Offensive line, I won't spend too much time here because I don't think we're going to have much of a need there, but there's some good left tackles. Not a ton of outstanding guards, but there are some. So yeah, that's what we're looking at here. Defensive line, I think, we're going to be looking for a pass rusher definitely at some point. So whether it's early or late, guys maybe in the top 2 rounds, so like these guys, Joe Tryon, Jalen Phillips, Jason Owe. Other good players here like Greg Rousseau, Kwity Paye, Carlos Basham Jr., Patrick Jones, and then maybe down to like here would be kind of where we look to address possibly. At DT, it's not a top-heavy class, but it's got depth. So this could be something we address in the middle rounds, I think. I think we can come up with a decent player somewhere in the middle here. At linebacker, I'd say if I addressed it in the first round, it probably would be for Jeremiah Owusu-Koroma. Because based on what I'm looking for and who we have on the team, we need more of a pass cover type of linebacker, and that is exactly what he can do. Zaven Collins would be an interesting guy. He kind of would almost be like a potential Hightower clone replacement based on his size at 6'4", 260. Because Hightower, I believe, is somewhere around 6'3", 250, something like that. So it's very similar size and play style. Middle linebacker, I don't think this will be something we address here in the draft, because I think we re-signed a couple of young guys. I signed Terez Hall, and then we have Jawan Bentley. So we'll see. Over here, this is where we have Josh Uche. So, but with Madden, since they kind of break things down, kind of older with traditional left, right outside linebackers and left and right ends. In today's NFL, it's basically the modern terminology is edge rusher or off-ball linebacker. So what I mean by that is, an edge rusher is going to be guys like, who are the best examples I can give there? Like Myles Garrett, or I guess maybe Von Miller. He missed all last year, but Von Miller is like an edge rusher. So, those guys that rush the passer, basically. Whereas your off-ball linebackers are guys like, Bobby Wagner or Levante David. So I could also draft an outside linebacker that's considered like an edge rusher. So for example, these top 3 are mainly edge rushers, here too, and here's your more traditional or off-ball linebacker. So I could still draft someone here and then move them to whatever position in my scheme is the edge rusher or pass rusher. So there's some guys here that we could look at as well for pass rushing. Corner, again, probably not going to be something I draft here really. It's a pretty solid class. I think Caleb Farley is going to be really good, and then Patrick Surtain, the second son of the original Patrick Surtain, former NFL player. And then J.C. Horn actually is the son of Joe Horn. And then as you can see here, Asante Samuel, his son. So a lot of interesting kind of former NFL player sons here at this position. Safety, again, probably not going to be a big need, so I don't think we'll spend much time here. It's kind of a thin class as it is anyway, so I won't be looking at, and I don't think we'll be taking kicker or punter. So that's everything. So I think we can go ahead and begin the draft. And if you were wondering why There's like really basically anyone scouted or, and actually, you know, I probably didn't even need to use the draft board here just because, again, I just know a lot of these players just from watching college and following. In a normal draft class, if you're using like a regular Madden one or anything, you kind of scout all year long. You get points. So because I started this franchise basically after the Super Bowl, I basically lost all the potential scouting, but wasn't really needed for using this class because I know the players just, you know, here. So we're just going to kind of go by this and not even need to use the draft board or really scouting. All right. So here we go, guys. Let's see who the Jags take number 1.
The Jets are now on.
And as expected, Trevor Lawrence is now a Jaguar. He will be a 78 overall from day 1. So the Jags land their franchise QB. And that will move Gardner Minshew to a backup role or possible trade candidate. Maybe keep an eye out for that. All right, so now that the kind of obvious pick is done, what will the Jets do? Will they take a QB? They signed Colin Kaepernick. I did tweak that, so probably still a position they could address. They still have Sam Darnold. So let's see if they maybe go with Zach Wilson or address something else.
The Dolphins are now.
They go elsewhere. They elect to give Darnold 1 more year, possibly, and give him a target. Jets did badly need a wide receiver. It's Jamar Chase going 2nd overall to the Jets in our division. And we're getting right back to our division, Miami, who has the Texans' first-round pick here via the Laramie Tunsil trade. So Miami feasting off of that as the Texans give up the 3rd overall pick from a trade they made a couple seasons ago. So let's see what Miami does. I don't think they're going QB, so to me this could be a potential lineman spot, pass rusher. We'll see. So let's see what Miami does.
The Falcons.
Miami takes a linebacker, the top one available, Micah Parsons out of Penn State, top middle linebacker in the class, a 77 overall. So Miami gets a big-time middle linebacker to step in and probably start right away on their defense. All right, the Falcons hit the clock. They probably could take a quarterback in real life, but they probably won't in Madden because they still have Matt Ryan on the team. So I think, honestly, here, this will probably be... Excuse me. This will probably be a defensive back, pass rusher maybe. Atlanta's defense isn't the best, so I think they could look there. Maybe offensive line as a long shot possibility. All right, let's see what Atlanta does.
The Bengals.
They do go offensive line. They take the top left tackle in the class, Penei Sewell out of Oregon. 77 overall. He'll be probably a day 1 starter for the Falcons. All right, Cincinnati on the clock. Who are they going to get to help Joe Burrow? They probably would have loved to get Penei Sewell because they need offensive line help in the worst way. But other than that, I don't know what the Bengals will do. If they don't go line, I mean, they could go somewhere on defense. They need a lot of help across the defense. So let's see. Cincinnati.
The Eagles
goes tight end and takes Kyle Pitts. Yeah, even after already having signed Jonnu Smith in free agency, they double up at tight end. So kind of setting up with like a Gronk, Aaron Hernandez type of deal here. So interesting there. That's a little bit of a curious move to me. Gee, excuse me. I think they really should have gone offensive line, especially after signing Jonnu Smith. It really doesn't make a lot of sense to double up at that position like that. I mean, I see the point, but I feel like that's too much of a luxury pick for a team like the Bengals here. So a little bit of a head scratcher. I love the player. Definitely not saying I don't like the player, but as I already said, I would have loved to take Pitts if he fell to the Pats here with me. But yeah, not so sure. where the Bengals' head is at with that one. But let's move on to the Philadelphia Eagles. Do they look to replace Carson Wentz? They do have still Jalen Hurts, of course. Do they get Wentz a receiver? Do they go defense? I don't know. Man, I'm not sure what's wrong with me here. All right, I gotta slap into some boost here. There we go. All right, Eagles. What do we got?
The Lions.
They do go offensive line. The next best left tackle, Rashawn Slater, Northwestern, heads to Philly. Probably could play either tackle or guard for them, I would assume. So we'll see. Lions. And so, just so we know, this is the Lions still having Matt Stafford. It's kind of hard to make that trade happen. So Stafford will still be a line in this. But the Lions will go.
The Panthers are now
Devontae Smith, the Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama. So Galladay leaves town. I believe Marvin Jones is also gone. Amendola, I think, retired. So the Lions basically had a mass exodus. So this is actually a really smart pick, really logical pick here. I like that. So Detroit gets Devonta Smith. All right, Carolina. I'm not sure really. They could go quarterback. But otherwise, all the quarterbacks have kind of continued to move down the board. So Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, looking good for us to possibly take a QB of the future at pick 15 so far. So will Carolina do that? I don't think so. They could. They could also probably go defense, offensive line, but let's see. So Carolina, 8th overall.
The Broncos
goes
are now
corner,
on the clock.
Caleb Farley, Virginia Tech. All right, I think that makes sense. They probably needed a corner. So next up is Denver, 9th overall pick. So Denver, they could look to replace Drew Lock by taking a quarterback here. They could also go something on defense, maybe at corner. So it could be Patrick Surtain. So let's see what Denver does at pick number 9.
The Cowboys.
They go pass rusher, Gregory Rousseau out of Miami. Interesting because they got Von Miller, although he may be at the end of his time in Denver, so he might only be there for another year. So they could be looking ahead here at replacing him with Rousseau. They still have Bradley Chubb, so interesting there. Not sure it's what I would have done if I was Denver, but I can see it. So Dallas now at number 10. They did bring back that Dak Prescott, so QB won't be a need. I don't think receiver's a need or running back. So maybe offensive line, but I think honestly defense is where they should pick, and I think it should be Patrick Surtain. So we'll see if they do that. So Dallas at 10 selects.
The Giants are now on the clock.
A guard. Wow. Elijah Vera Tucker, and he's actually from USC. For some reason, the Madden classes like to randomly reassign that to the first school in the alphabet. So he's actually a USC player. I'll make sure to tinker that after the stream. Make sure that's not showing that. But anyway, nice offensive line. I mean, Dallas has been known for building their offensive line here in recent years. So it did kind of fall off a cliff last year. So I think that's something that we could see. I probably would have taken a corner because Dallas desperately did need a corner. But anyway, let's keep going. The Giants. So again, all three of the other quarterbacks, aside from Lawrence, are still here that were first round, players. The Giants, I don't think they replaced Danny Jones already. So I don't know. What do the Giants do? Could be defense, could be O-line. They could go receiver to get themselves someone. They did let Golden Tate walk, so I don't know. Let's see what the Giants do at 11.
The 49ers.
They go pass rusher, Kwity Paye from Michigan. I can see that. That makes sense. They probably needed a pass rusher, so nothing wrong with that. Niners at 12. Do they take someone to replace Jimmy G? So does a quarterback go here? I mean, if not, honestly, looking at the next two teams, I may honestly have my choice at any QB. And I would be elated to take probably Zach Wilson, really, because he was the number 2 QB ranked. So the Niners, I don't know. They're an interesting team. Whoa, man. They're an interesting team because they bring a lot of guys back from injury. And yeah, I think they're in a position to take almost best available. Maybe a running back or receiver, I don't know. Probably not receiver. I think they have enough guys there. So let's see what the Niners do at 12.
The Chargers are
They
now
go
on the
corner,
clock.
Patrick Surtain. That could be what ends up being your Richard Sherman replacement who's getting up there. So that's a good pick. I think that makes sense. And so the Chargers are out there. You know they're not going to take a QB. They got Justin Herbert. So the QBs continue to fall. Let's see what the Chargers do at pick 13.
The Vikings.
They go
are
wide
now
out.
on the clock.
Jalen Waddle out of Alabama. All right. I think that makes sense. That gives them a nice wide receiver trio now with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and now Jalen Waddle. So, all right. And now the Vikings are up, and then we are next. And we will have possibly all 3 of the quarterbacks to choose from with our 15th overall pick. Never really would have thought that would happen. And to be quite honest, this will not happen in real life. So, because in the Madden draft, no one really trades up unless it's you as the user. So to me, I might have had one of those guys become available or fall available to me at 15. I don't think any way Zach Wilson will make it this far. And I really don't think Lance or Fields, but I think both of them would. And also, we're even leaving out Mac Jones here, too. So, but this is Madden. That's why it's entertaining, to say the least. So let's see what the Vikings do. I don't think they're going to take a QB with Kirk Cousins. They could, but I don't think so. So let's see what the Vikes do at 14, and then we are on the clock.
The Patriots.
Yep, they
are now
go
on the clock.
offensive line. Christian Darrisaw out of Virginia Tech. All right. So we are up. I don't think I'll be looking to trade. And my, oh my. So Zach Wilson, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones. And man, I really would have loved to also have taken him. Jeremiah, okay. But I think we have to go quarterback here. And I think to me, I'm probably deciding really between Zach Wilson and Justin Fields. And I think to me, it's got to be Zach Wilson. So we are going to go ahead and draft the BYU QB to become the new franchise quarterback of your New England Patriots. There it is. Zach Wilson is the pick.
The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Madden says I reached. I mean, 17 in true value, and I took him at 15. And he's literally the second best QB in the class, so not really concerned about Madden's draft analysis. But the big news here is hidden development. So that will mean he is at minimum has star development. So very good to see there. And we have our new face of the franchise, ladies and gentlemen. Zach Wilson will be your Patriots quarterback of the future. And that answers one of the big mysteries coming into tonight. About what would happen with us at the quarterback position. So let's keep moving. Very exciting to have Zach Wilson on the squad here. So Arizona at pick 16.
The Raiders
Christian
are now
Barmore,
on the clock.
defensive tackle. All right. Las Vegas at 17.
The Dolphins are now
Take a
on the
corner,
clock.
J.C. Horn. All right. So guys, let me know what you think in the chat about our new QB, Zach Wilson. Definitely Shocking that he fell all the way down to us, but here we are. We get him at 15, and he will be the new quarterback of the team. All right, Miami at pick 18 goes pass rush Jason Owe out of Penn State. All right, the football team on the clock. What are they going to do? Washington selects
The Bears are now
Jeremiah
on the clock.
Owusu-Koroma out of Notre Dame. Excellent pick, Washington. All right, the Bears from Chicago at pick 20. They take
The Colts are
Zaven
now on the
Collins,
clock.
the linebacker out of Tulsa. He'll probably be more of a middle linebacker in their scheme. He could be an edge rusher, but I don't know. That's an interesting pick there for the Bears. I feel like with what I know they have, he'll probably be really more of a middle linebacker, though. All right, Colts at 21.
The Titans are now on
And
the clock.
there's the next QB. It is Justin Fields replacing Phillip Rivers, and he will be the new face of the Colts franchise. All right, so there's our third QB off the board. Tennessee at 22.
The Jets are
Go
now on the
linebacker.
clock.
It's Nick Bolton out of Missouri. All right, the Jets are back on the clock with their second first-round pick, I believe. They will take
The Steelers
pass
are now on
rusher
the clock.
Carlos Basham Jr. out of Wake Forest. All right. Jets have had a couple good picks so far. So the Steelers at 24.
The Jaguars.
They
are now
also
on the clock.
grab an edge rusher, Jalen Phillips out of Miami. Okay, to team up with TJ Watt. Jacksonville back on the clock with their second first-round pick at 25 via the Jalen Ramsey trade. They will take, with the Rams pick
The
they got,
Browns are now
a
on the
safety,
clock.
Trevon Moehrig out of TCU, probably the top safety in the class. So the Jags jump at that opportunity. Cleveland at 26.
The Ravens are now
Go
on
corner. It's Asante Samuel Jr. Interesting. 69 overall could be a reach. So interesting move by Cleveland, but they did need a corner, so it makes sense. All right, Baltimore at 27.
The Saints are now on
They
the
take,
clock.
that should read Azeez Ojulari, so pass rusher for the Ravens at 27. They get a 72 overall, so that's a really good pick for the Ravens. They actually feel like they signed or stockpiled a lot of pass rushers here in the free agency now with their first round pick. Saints at 28. Do they take Lance or Mac Jones, considering the only QB they had on the roster was some no-name with the last name Love? And it's not Jordan Love, first-round pick from last year on Green Bay. So let's see what the Saints do.
The Packers.
They
are now
decide
on the
not
clock.
to address the quarterback position and instead take a receiver. Oh, man, it's Rashad Bateman out of Minnesota. Another situation where, like the player, but am befuddled by the decision here. With two QBs that probably should have gone a long time ago falling to you in your lap, you just bypass. Head scratching. Because now the Saints won't pick again until the end of the second round. So I don't know if they come away with like a legitimate franchise quarterback here now. Yikes, Saints. That is bad. All right, so Green Bay at 29.
The
They go with a
Bills are
pass
now on the
rusher,
clock.
Tyron, out of Washington. All right, 3 more picks left in round 1. The Buffalo Bills, so our division winner, who we're trying to chase and get back ahead of in the division hierarchy. They will, out of Buffalo, Ohio State. I had the Buffalo Bills on my mind there. So the Bills take the guard out of Ohio State. Looks like a solid player. So, okay. Tampa Bay. Not sure why they're picking 31st. Pretty sure I had them win the Super Bowl. Let me just check that because that doesn't really make sense. So is this an instance of Madden being Madden? Well, I guess we can't look back to last year. Another fault of Madden. This is apparently our upcoming schedule. And yeah, there's no way to look back to to last season. SMH. Well, I know for sure I had Tampa Bay win the Super Bowl. I remember it pretty vividly. So the Chiefs get screwed by getting crushed in the Super Bowl in real life. They didn't actually get crushed in the simulation here, but they don't even get the pick ahead of Tampa Bay. You gotta love it. All right, well, let's see what Tampa Bay does then at 31.
The Chiefs are
They
now
go
on
pass
the clock.
rush. Joseph Osai out of Texas. All right, and the Chiefs to end the first round take a guard.
The
It's Trey Smith out of
Jaguars are now on the
Tennessee.
clock.
All right, so that is round one. Let's move on to, round two. Jags back at the top of the board here. Let's see what the Jags go number one of the second round here.
The Jets
Tevin
are now on
Jenkins,
the
right
clock.
tackle out of Oklahoma State. And actually, really quick, let me just see what the board looks like. See who fell into the second round. So the other two quarterbacks that were first round projections and are in real life fall to the second round. Both running backs, top running backs available, fall to round two. No running backs have been selected yet. And a receiver, Kadarius Toney, who was a projected first rounder, falls to round two. And then otherwise, all round two guys still, here on the board. So mainly all the round one guys were gobbled up with the exception of a few. So time to start thinking about what we're going to do with our second round pick. And based on the board, we're going to have probably a lot of receivers that are available. We could go DT. I just saw a couple here that are in our range. We could go linebacker like Chaz Surratt, who's a pass cover linebacker that I was looking into. We could take a pass rusher like Patrick Jones. So we're going to have a lot of good options here. I feel good about what we could potentially get here with the second round pick. All right. Let's skip ahead to the Jets and see what they do with the second pick of the second round.
The
They go
Falcons
safety.
are now on the
It's
clock.
Javon Holland out of Oregon, who's a 72. That's a nice value for the Jets. All right, Atlanta at pick 3 of the second round.
The Dolphins are
Ends
now
the
on
running
clock.
back slide. They go Travis Etienne to take over as their feature back, as Gurley was done on a one-year deal. Didn't get re-signed, so Etienne probably should have the job there as a rookie for the Falcons. So Miami at pick 4 here in the second round.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Address right tackle with Liam Eichenberg, who is actually from Notre Dame, so there's another instance of that. Annoying bug, so he goes to the Dolphins. Eagles at pick 5 of the second round.
The
Go
Bengals are now
corner,
on the
Tyson
clock.
Campbell out of Georgia. Bengals here at pick 6 in round 2.
The Panthers are now on the
Go
clock.
offensive line. That's what they needed to do. It's Jalen Mayfield out of Michigan. All right. Panthers pick 7 here in round 2.
The Broncos are now on the
Samuel
clock.
Cosme out of Texas. So a good pick for Carolina. I think they did need a left tackle, so that's a good move for them, I think. Denver at pick 8.
The Lions
Goes
are now on the
DT.
clock.
Davion Nixon out of Iowa. Okay. Could have been one of our potential picks. Lions at pick 9.
The Giants
Take
are now on the
Chaz
clock.
Surratt out of North Carolina. So there goes our possible pick of a pass covering linebacker. So, all right. Giants at pick 10.
The 49ers
They go
are now on
linebacker
the clock.
Dylan Moses out of Alabama. Okay. Solid pick. Niners in pick 11 here in round 2.
Cowboys are now on the clock.
Najee Harris. That is, man, that's a nice value selection by the 49ers. Because if you look at that team, I believe that Jerick McKinnon and Tevin Coleman were free agents. So they had still Raheem Mostert, who's actually, although he's just come onto the scene lately, he actually is almost, I think, or is 30. So that is really a good pick for the current and future for the Niners. That might be one of the best overall picks of the draft to this point. Dallas at pick 12, round 2.
The Jaguars are now on
Pass
the clock.
rusher Patrick Jones out of Pittsburgh. All right, and we are next. So Jags here again with another second-round pick via the Rams once again. They'll take
The Patriots
tight
are now on the
end
clock.
Pat Fryermuth out of Penn State. So the second tight end to get picked. And now your New England Patriots are on the clock. So chat, everybody watching, what do we think? These other two QBs continue to slide. Kadarius Toney, a lot of receivers we could choose from here. Could go defensive tackle. We got Levi on Wuzariki, Jordan Davis. There's a ton of receivers here that we could select from. I don't think running back's something here, and I don't think we're going to go any further. So honestly, here, based on what we need and could go after, I'm really thinking wide out here. I'm definitely thinking wide out here. So let's kind of narrow it down to the wideouts. And to me, the guys that I'm probably looking at here are these four. And I know Kadarius Toney was projected as a first-round pick. And I think based on what we have on the team, we need a speed threat. We need a speed threat. So in terms of what I know about these guys, I believe that would probably narrow it down to one of these two. And we also kind of do need like a traditional slot. So, smaller, compact guy. And I don't know if anyone knows, Rondale Moore at Purdue, it was one of the more exciting guys to watch. And that's who I'm leaning towards right now, to be quite honest. So let me know what you think. Should we take one of these other wideouts? Should we look at another position? Or do we like Rondale Moore here? That's really who I'm thinking and leaning towards here. We'll take a quick look over at some other positions. Again, tight end. Maybe round 3. Could look for a guy like Brevin Jordan. Because based on his talent value, that would be a good value pick. I still definitely won't need to come away with a pass rusher. That's supposed to say, I believe, Cox. C-O-X, that is. And yeah, it gets censored. I mean, look at DT. It's still so deep that I don't think it makes sense to take it here. I mean, receiver is 2, but I like Rondale Moore a lot, and he wouldn't be available. Could go Jamin Davis as a pass rusher. I think he seems like a pretty good pick. Potential, or one of these 3 here I think could work. So I think that's probably where we're going to look for round 3 is a pass rusher. And I think right now, yeah, it's got to be, to me, DT or receiver. So I think I'm going wide out, and I think I'm going Rondale Moore. Let's put it on the board. He's 21 years old as well, so I think that definitely gives him a lot of upside. We're taking Rondale Moore.
The Chargers are now
And
on
this
the clock.
time, Madden says it's a good pick. And Hidden Dev once again, a 70 overall. And look at that, exactly what we were looking for. Hybrid of a deep threat slot receiver. And look at that, 93 speed, 95 acceleration, 94 agility. Definitely got to work on the route running and release and the catching traits, but in terms of what we were looking for and needing, he fits the bill. So I am just overall ecstatic with the first 2 picks we've made here tonight. Awesome. So Rondale Moore is the pick in round 2. Let's move on. So Chargers after us.
The Raiders
go
are now on the
Rodarius Williams, corner out of Oklahoma State. So guys, let me know what you think. Rondale Moore looks like a good pick. All right, Vegas.
The Cardinals are now
Tackle
on the
Alex Leatherwood out of Alabama. Arizona at pick 17.
The Dolphins are now on
That's
the
supposed to be another Cox last name. So Jabril Cox, linebacker out of LSU, goes to Arizona. Miami. Take Landon Dickerson And that actually would be only, I think, one N, but Miami doesn't like the word Dickerson. I mean, Madden, not Miami. Madden doesn't like the word Dickerson. But yeah, first center off the board, so Miami grabs him. Washington at pick 19.
The Bears are now on the
Go
clock.
Levi on Wuzariki, who I had some interest in, but Washington snags him. Chicago,
The Titans
Andre
are now on the clock.
Cisco, safety out of Syracuse, goes to the Bears. Tennessee,
The Colts
Jordan
are
Davis,
now on the clock.
defensive tackle who I had looked into or thought it could be a reasonable pick. Goes to Titans at pick 21. 22, the Colts.
The Steelers are
And
now on the
Kadarius
clock.
Toney's fall. So he was also a 70, just like Rondale Moore. So kind of ended up being right on cue. So he goes to the Colts. So yes, folks, Lance and Mac Jones continue to slip. And honestly, I don't see a team that would take him upcoming except for maybe the Saints. They might end up getting freaking lucky. And one of those guys will fall, and they'll be able to grab him. So let's see what Pittsburgh does.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Can't really see that with the yellow. It's Jalen. I think it's Jalen Twyman, DT out of Pittsburgh. All right. Seattle.
The Rams
Aaron
are now on the
Robinson,
clock.
corner out of UCF. The Rams.
The Ravens
Paulson
are now on the
Adebo,
clock.
corner out of Stanford. Baltimore.
The Browns are now on the
Hamza
clock.
Nasser-Dean, safety out of Florida State. All right, Cleveland. Florida State, as you can tell, is one of my not favorite programs. But, all right, Browns, pick 27.
The Saints
Go
are now on the
tailback,
clock.
Kenneth Gainwell. Interesting, considering they have Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So, round 2, not sure that was really necessary for Cleveland, but they do it. And so the Saints, for the love of God, will they pull the trigger on a quarterback here? Let's see. Do they finally end the slide of either Lance or Mac Jones?
The Bills.
They
are now on the
don't!
clock.
They go corner Sean Wade out of Ohio State. Wow. And with who's coming up here, I don't see another team possibly taking a quarterback until probably the Jets. My, oh my. All right, Buffalo, pick 29.
The Packers
Go
are now on the
Deontay Brown
clock.
out of Alabama, guard. Green Bay at pick 30.
The
Marvin
Buccaneers
Wilson,
are now on the clock.
defensive tackle to Florida State. And to end
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
the second round, it's Dylan Raduns, North Dakota State tackle to Tampa Bay, and then the Chiefs.
The
Go
Jaguars
Terrence
are now on the
Marshall.
clock.
That's a nice pick for Kansas City to replace Watkins. And also, I think Robinson was available. So, yeah, he's all of a sudden like their number 3, probably. So, nice pick there. All right. We're on to round 3. Let's quickly just take a look at the draft board. So, obviously, the 2 QBs continue to fall. And that also now has pushed Kyle Trask back as well. Still a bunch of receivers and running backs here that slipped to round 3. And some good pass rushers for us to look into, which is where we're probably going to be looking to grab here, or a DT, or depending on where things fall. Excuse me, Brevin Jordan. All right, so Jacksonville to start round 3.
The Jets
Go
are now on
tailback,
the clock.
Javonte Williams. They did need a good backup to, is it James? Yeah, James Robinson. So it's a good pick for the Jags. Jets at 2. Do they take a quarterback?
The Texans
They
are now on
do.
the clock.
The Jets go Mac Jones, and all of a sudden, we got a big-time QB controversy or competition in New York as Mac Jones joins Sam Darnold and Colin Kaepernick in the Jets QB room. So the Mac Jones fall ends, but that means Trey Lance is still free-falling. And looking at the next couple of teams, maybe the Falcons or Eagles take him. Denver, perhaps. Carolina. I feel like he should go real soon, though. So we'll see. Texans finally join the draft at pick 3 of the 3rd round. They go.
The Falcons
Chuba
are now
Hubbard,
on the clock.
halfback from Oklahoma State. Not sure with what the Texans have for needs. That would have made a lot of sense since they signed Marlon Mack and brought back David Johnson. But anyway, Atlanta pick 4 of the 3rd round.
The Bengals
Go
are now on the
Creed
clock.
Humphrey, the 2nd center off the board out of Oklahoma. Cincinnati at pick 5 of the 3rd round.
The Eagles
Go
are
running
now on
back
the
Trey
clock.
Sermon, Ohio State. Eagles pick 6, round
The
3.
Broncos are
DT
now on
Tyler
the clock.
Shelvin, LSU. Denver pick 7 of round 3.
The Lions
Richie
are now on the
Grant,
clock.
safety out of Central Florida. So Denver decided not to take a QB. So Detroit at pick 8
The Panthers are now on the clock.
ends the Trey Lance slide and maybe has a Matt Stafford heir apparent by selecting Trey Lance. So there's Lance's slide ending in the 3rd round at pick 8. The Lions take him to groom behind Stafford. I think logically that makes sense. Obviously Stafford's no longer a Lion, but I think if this was like really a 1st round pick, I could see that making a lot of sense. So, all right, so the QB drama kind of has now finally subsided, so we'll go ahead and keep moving along. So pick 9, round 3. And Trask goes immediately after to Carolina. So he may be possibly getting groomed behind Teddy Bridgewater for 1 more year. All right, so there goes the other top end-ish QB. So that'll kind of take the drama off of the QBs now for a bit. Washington.
The Cowboys are now
Oh,
on the clock.
Brevin Jordan. So we will not have the opportunity to consider Brevin. He's off to Washington at pick 10 of the 3rd round. So Dallas now at pick 11.
The Giants
Go
are
Ardarius
now on the
Washington
clock.
at safety out of TCU. The Giants at pick 12.
The Patriots are
Grab
now
a
on the
QB.
clock.
So one of the kind of more mid-round guys available. So Jamie Newman, probably the new backup for Daniel Jones. 64 overall. All right. And we're on the clock. So let's take a look and see what our Patriots can do. All right, so I did scout Quincy Roche, or Roche, not sure the pronunciation, but he kind of graded out badly. So that is a little concerning. We could go Hamilcar Rashid Jr. out of Oregon State. He is an edge rusher, but he's very slight at 237. Chris Rumpf also 6'4", 238. We could take a DT like Jay Tufeli out of USC. We could, if we want to go corner, Kenny Yeboah, a vertical threat. I don't think it's ultimately necessary though. So yeah, honestly, I'm starting to believe here that our options are probably going to be, or what I'm narrowing down is probably Jay Tufele. Or one of these two guys here at edge rusher. So Rashid Jr. is a year older than Chris Rumpf. Quincy Roche is also 23 years old. And Tufele is 22. I'm starting to think I'm leaning towards Chris Rumpf the second here. Let me know what you guys think though, but I definitely think it's probably time to address the defense. We've taken our new franchise quarterback and a speed slash slot receiver already in the second round, so I think it's definitely going to be a defensive pick here. I think really quick while I see if anyone would like to leave any chats on what we should do. I'm just going to quickly change up the background music here to get something different going on. There we go. All right, guys, let's see what we can do. Did forget about Jamin Davis. He is a much younger pass rusher. He's also really, really small, a small player. But I am definitely intrigued by him too. I don't know. I'm honestly starting to think now I might consider trading down. I'm really not enamored with a lot of the possibilities at this particular spot. So let's look into our trade down offers. So if I wanted to trade down, I'd get Buffalo's offering a future 3 and 6, a future 3, and a current 5. The Rams would basically just give me an extra 7 to swap. Future picks. The Jets would just literally swap 3rd round picks and give me nothing to do it. Thanks, Jets. Thanks. Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to probably consider any offers that don't include like a 3rd and swapping something in the current round and something else extra. So right now, Tampa Bay could give me an end of the 3rd round pick and then a future, a 5 for the next draft. I could go out of the 3rd round altogether with Miami and get a future 4 out of the deal if I don't really want to stay in the 4th round at all. Man, some of these offers are just plain idiotic. Like some of the teams that are just offering me literally just a flat out swap with nothing else in return. Absolutely head scratching. How about the Vikings just saying, we'll give you this pick and then you just get a 3rd next year. So sorry. I mean, I guess in theory it's not a bad idea, but you would think that, you'd also get something to use, in this draft. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm feeling here. I'm starting to think that Tampa Bay offer was the one that I liked the best. Because I know that's going to be at the end of the 3rd round, which might be more so where I could make a better pick that I'm looking for. They'd also give me a future 5. There's the current 4 and future 4 from Miami. I think that's another okay offer. And then another one that's okay would be actually, on second thought, it's really just those two. I guess the Browns one would be okay. I get a 7, but that's not really that much. So I don't know. I think, do I go all out of round 3 altogether? Do I stay in round 3 and just get an extra 5 for swapping? I think that makes the most sense. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay's offer. I'm going to move down in the 3rd round to the end of it and get a future 5 out of the deal.
Well, if you're wondering what the delay is, I think we've got a trade coming here.
See what Tampa was wanting to move up to grab.
The Chargers
They wanted corner Thomas Graham out of Oregon. All right. Interesting. All right, Chargers next.
The Vikings
Jackson Carman, left tackle, Clemson. Minnesota goes.
The Cardinals are now
Jarrett
on the
Patterson,
clock.
running back out of Buffalo. Cardinals.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Eric, I think that's supposed to be Stokes. Not sure why in the world that would be start out, but it is. Out of Georgia. All right, Las Vegas.
The Dolphins are
Center
now
Josh
on the clock.
Myers out of Ohio State. Miami goes Hamilcar Rasheed Jr. Oregon State, he's a 68, so okay. Washington.
The Bears are
Tutu
now on the clock.
Atwell, wide receiver Louisville, who I was thinking about, but ends up being a 69. Okay. Chicago up next.
The Colts
Go
are
Baron
now on
Browning,
the clock.
linebacker Ohio State. Okay. Colts.
The Titans are now on
Alaric
the
Jackson on tackle out of Iowa, Tennessee.
clock. The Jets
Kenny
are now on
Yeboah,
the clock.
tight end out of Ole Miss.
The Steelers are now
Jets
on
go
the clock.
Cameron McGrone, linebacker Michigan.
The
Pittsburgh
Rams
goes
are now
Walker
on the clock.
Little, left tackle out of Stanford. The Rams.
The Browns are
Cade
now on
Mays,
the
guard
clock.
out of Tennessee. Cleveland.
The Vikings
Xavier
are
Thomas
now
out
on
of
the clock.
Clemson, defensive end. Minnesota
Browns
goes
are
Jay
now on the
Tufele,
clock.
who ended up being a 66, so I think I made the right call to move down. That might have been a reach. Round 3. Browns back on the clock. Go Ben
Packers are now on
Cleveland,
the
guard out
clock.
of Georgia.
The Bills are now on the clock.
I'm just going to take a quick pause here just to check on a few things here with the stream. All right, Kerry Vincent Jr. goes to Green Bay at corner, and then we are next after the Bills.
The
They
Patriots
go tight end
are now
Jake
on the
Ferguson.
clock.
All right, so this time we will make a pick. And so I think this could be a spot where we either go Chris Rump the second, or the other guy that I did like, that could be Jamin Davis. But I think based on where they are currently ranked, I will take Chris Rump out of Duke.
The Chiefs
67,
are now on the
but
clock.
again, for the third straight time, we got a head in development. So Chris Rump the second says we reached, but I'll take the development. He is definitely a pure speed rusher based on his skill archetype and size. So he will be kind of initially a one-trick pony. Does have excellent acceleration. So he kind of really relies on his athletic ability. So we'll have to really work on him. So he's kind of a project, but with this potential star or higher development, that is a good start. Good starting point here. So I'd like the pick. I think that really worked out to move down and grab Chris Rump. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. So let's move on to end the round 3, the Chiefs.
The Broncos
Caden
are now
Stern,
on the
safety,
clock.
Texas.
The
Denver
Jets
goes
are now on
Quincy
the clock.
Roche's fall, top around
The
4.
Falcons are now on the
Jets go
clock.
Paris Ford, safety, Pitt.
The Texans
Atlanta goes
are now
Amon
on
Brown,
the clock.
St. Brown, USC receiver. Texans,
The Browns
Drew
now on the
Dalman,
clock.
center.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Browns go Jack Anderson at guard. Bengals,
The Lions are now
Jalen
on the
Redmond
clock.
at end.
The Panthers
Lions,
are now
Ashari
on the clock.
Croswell at safety.
The
Carolina
Broncos
Sage
are now
Surratt,
on the clock.
Wide
The
receiver.
Cowboys are now on the clock.
Broncos, Charles Snowden, a linebacker.
The Giants
Brady
are now on the
Christensen
clock.
for Dallas. We're coming up
The
again here.
49ers are now on the clock.
Michael Carter, running back, goes to the Giants.
The Chargers
Josh
are now
Joby,
on the clock.
corner Alabama to San Francisco.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Darren Fusai, probably, honestly, that might have been my next pick, and he would have been a solid one at 69 overall. But he is now off the board. Going to the Chargers, and the Vikings before us go
The Patriots
Tommy Kramer,
are now
guard,
on the
Notre
clock.
Dame, and we are up. So our 4th pick here of the draft. And what to do from here? Looking at our depth chart, we probably could go running back. Could still take a tight end. Could take any type of lineman for depth. Remember that Rumpf is probably going to be more so an end, so we did grab an ends. So we could again go look to address linebacker, DT, or safety depth. I think with the possibility of Gilmore being on his way out soon, we could look to take another bigger corner, which is where it could lead me to take a guy like Israel Mukamu out of South Carolina, a 6'3" corner. We could double up at pass rusher possibly and take Jamin Davis. Definitely an option. I don't think we're going to go probably any further than that. So I think for me, I think it's really down to here. Either selecting Jamin. It's probably Jamin, you know that, not Jamin. Probably either Jamin Davis, Israel Mukamu, maybe Brenton Cox, or one of these running backs here that I maybe mentioned earlier. But I think running back's deep enough that someone might fall, continue to fall. So I think it ultimately comes down to grabbing either Brenton Cox, Israel Mukamu, or Jamin Davis. And I think for me, where we are still pretty deep at corner, we have Jawan Williams as a fourth guy that we could maybe start to develop in place of Gilmore. I think I'm going to lean towards either going Davis or Cox here. I'm going to just take a look at Cox. I haven't really looked at him. So he's also a 21-year-old pass rusher. He's got a little bit more bulk to his game. There's also Big Cat Bryant, who's more of a power rusher, I guess. Ooh, excuse me. So, and if we are still looking for that more traditional or off-ball linebacker, man, there's just really not a lot of those guys left here, to be quite honest. Could be maybe one of these guys later, a couple rounds from now, but otherwise it's not too much left at that type of position, really, here. Just taking a look at a couple other pass rushers I haven't really looked at. Now that we're getting near to the end of the draft, I don't actually really know as much about some of these guys that are left. I don't know, I just kind of feel like it's redundant to take another kind of, smaller frame speed rusher type of edge. So that's why I'm starting to get backing off of Davis, but then Cox is really only, he's like a little over 10 pounds bigger. Big Cat Bryant, he's got an extra inch to his height and a pound to his weight, so so if we're looking really more for value here, we could actually instead pivot back to running back where there's a bunch of guys available here. And maybe grab a scattish back like Hawkins. So I don't know. Lord have mercy, I don't know what's going on here. Alright, I think we got to make a choice here. So I really think I am going to go with Hawkins at running back. 21 years old. Let's take him.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
Hawkins is solid. He says we reached, but again, not really the case. So he's definitely a straight elusive back. Normal devs, our first non-hidden dev guy. He actually does need to develop some as a pass catcher. So interesting. He's not a kick returner either, so interesting ratings. Actually a little bit disappointing for what I was looking or hoping for, but all right. We'll move along. So the Raiders
are now on the clock.
Brent Cox, who I was considering, TJ Carter, Hunter Long to Miami.
The Vikings
Kellen Mond, the QB, goes to Washington. Larry Barome.
The Colts
Big Cat Ryan goes off to the Titans. He was a 65. All right.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Kylan Hill goes to Seattle. I did think about him.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
David Mills goes to Baltimore.
The Saints are now on the clock. The Packers are now on the clock.
All right, we're almost through round 4.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Kerstetter. How about that? The namesake. All right, we're in the round 5, so let's keep moving.
The Jets
and there goes
are now
McComu.
All right. The Texans are now on the clock.
Derek Forrest.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
So a lot of their running backs starting to fly off the board now. Keontae Ingram goes to Carolina.
The Lions
Kennedy
are now on the clock.
Ryan something.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Something.
The Eagles
Taylor
are now
Riggins.
on the clock. The Vikings
Seven Banks,
are now on
and
the
we
clock.
are up. All right. In round 5. Man, if we hadn't taken a receiver yet, I probably would take Tylan Wallace here. But do we really need to take an 8th receiver to add to our depth chart? Look how many receivers are falling here by the wayside. Excuse me while I adjust my seated position here. All right, I think we got to get back to defense again. So let's see who the top guy. Jamin Davis is still available. Shakur Brown, a man-to-man cover corner. Okay, that could make sense. We could go safety too. Add a young guy because McCourty and Phillips at free safety are on the older side. So that could make a lot of sense. We also could look to offensive line to add depth. Chase Lucas. We could go DT, so someone like Daryl Slayton. Wow, he's 6'5", 358. I'm intrigued. This guy's 6'4", 339. He's 21 though. How old is he? 22. Bobby Brown's definitely an intriguing player at that size. That definitely would give us a type of DT we don't have with some exceptional size. I like Shakur Brown. I think that could make sense for us. Man, I just can't believe we're going to come away with like no linebackers here. All right, I think it is going to be Shakur Brown. I don't know. Let me go back to look at just strictly the safeties because I think safety is really a spot we could use a young player at. And Richard LeCount is the best one. He would be our last chance to address it. So I think we're just going to go ahead and draft Richard LeCount at safety.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
He's okay. I mean, round 5. I mean, what else are you gonna do, right? All right, we'll move along.
The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Bills
Amari
are now
Rodgers,
on the clock.
that's a steal for Arizona. In the 5th round. Big
the
steal.
Bears are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock. The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Jefferson.
The Ravens are now on the clock.
Seahawks take a fullback.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Ooh, Lamont Wade was a 68. That probably would have been a better selection for us.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
All right, well, the Niners take another running back.
The Bills
Shakur
are now
Brown
on
would
the
have been a
clock.
67 had we gone that route.
The Chiefs are now on the
There's
clock.
Jamin Davis, so he goes to
The
Tampa.
Titans are
Tylan
now on
Wallace,
the
that's one of the steals of the draft. Wow. Chiefs get him at the end of round 5. All right, we're on the round 6.
The Jets are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Eagles.
Well, guys,
are now
let me
on the
know what
clock.
you think
The Bengals
here
are
about what
now
we've
on
been
the
able
clock.
to do so far here
The
with
Broncos
this draft class.
are now on the clock.
We got a couple more picks left to
The
make. We actually have
Panthers are
2
now on the
6th-round
clock.
picks here.
The 49ers
Coming
are
up.
now on the clock. The Patriots are now
So,
on the clock.
all right, let's see what we can do here with back-to-back 6th-round picks. I think we got to go Bobby Brown. Address the DT spot here. So 66
The
overall.
Giants are now on the clock.
Normal dev. Okay. Good strength. Block shed. So he's going to serve a good purpose as possible run stuffer. All right. I feel okay with that. With those skills. All right. So we'll see what the Giants do. Then we're back on the clock.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
So they go Slayton, who was the other DT I was considering. All right, so I think here, if we can find, I think we got to take Stevens as a pass cover linebacker out of LSU. So let's go with Jacob Stevens.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Well, that was disappointing a little bit.
The Vikings
All right,
are now
well,
on
we'll
the
have
clock.
to keep on pushing.
The Giants are now on the clock.
I believe we've got one more pick left.
The Raiders are now on the clock.
In the 7th round, so we will
The Chargers are now on the
move
clock.
our way right along. Aaron Banks, Notre Dame, goes
The
to
Dolphins
the Chargers.
are now on the clock. The Rams are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock.
So I think I'm going to go ahead and just skip to the next user pick here. There's no real names
The
we were
Patriots
tracking,
are now
I
on
don't
the
think, any
clock.
longer. So we'll just get to our pick to wrap up the draft here. Our last pick. So still a bunch of receivers that just didn't get picked. Interesting stuff. I don't think it makes any sense for us to go back into the receiver well again. We could maybe opt for like a more of a power rusher here, D'Angelo Malone. Otherwise, we're basically into undrafted types here. Yeah, I don't really know. Not really sure where we should go here. We still desperately need either a linebacker or end here, I think, for the most part. So there's just not really much out here. Maybe a Notre Dame guy. He's 24 already, but I know a little bit about him, of course, as a Notre Dame fan. Yeah, it's getting pretty grim out here in the world for guys left available. Wide receiver seems to have the biggest position that had guys fall big time. Yeah, you know what? I think in the end, we got to take really something that we need to fill depth out at. So I'm honestly just thinking about taking a chance on my dude out of Notre Dame. Probably should just go right to his position, I guess. Dalen Hayes. The only big issue is he is already 24. So not what you would have hoped for. Because I just don't see the point in taking yet another wideout or a DT. And those are like all the best positions available. So yeah, I guess we could take Jaquan Bailey. He is 2 years younger than Hayes, so yeah, I guess that would make sense. He is probably one of the only draftable players in terms of their projections. So we'll go ahead and take Jaquan Bailey.
The Cardinals
so 64 overall, looking like he's around probably the best we could have had at this point, besides, you know, taking yet another wideout. So all right, not bad. All right, we'll see how the draft finishes out here.
Steelers
see if there's
are now on the clock.
See if there's any notable names that end up going with the last
few
Raiders picks. Maybe like any of those receivers.
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Colts just got to 58.
The Buccaneers are now on the clock.
All those guys end up going undrafted receiver.
The Broncos are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock.
Collins goes to the Steelers.
The Packers are now on the clock. The
Packers
Browns are now on the clock.
That's a good pick. And
The
Mr.
Chiefs
Irrelevant for the Chiefs. Doy Wright. So there is your draft. We have made it through. Made it through the draft. So here's what our class looks like. A pretty solid group. I feel really good about the first 4 picks that I made. 3 had hidden dev here, the top 3. I liked these 2. The last 2 definitely weren't as great, but let's see what else happened around the league. I also want to see if now that they're out of the draft class, really quick, just while we're here, if it'll let me just change the last name to what it should be. Or if the game just really doesn't allow the last name Cox, even though there's a guy in the NFL, Fletcher Cox, who's one of the better players, has that name. Yeah, it just really doesn't want you to put it in. Pun intended. SMH. All right. Well, the Raiders seem to have come away with a pretty solid group. Rams only had 4 picks. Took a couple of solid players at the top. Not much else after. The Ravens got Azeez Ojulari, who's got hidden dev. Football team got Jeremiah Owusu-Koroma. He's also got hidden dev. Washington came away with a really good top 4 here. They really did. The Saints were probably one of the biggest teams that blundered the draft, not even taking a quarterback, and they only had 4 picks. Yikes. Seattle with no first-round pick did accomplish a couple solid picks, although the fullback at 69 is not really the biggest impact. So, but yeah, they did all right. Steelers, not bad. Texans, who didn't have a top first pick in the first 2 rounds, yeah, is what it is. Titans hit their top 2. Other than that, I got a nice linebacker here later. The Vikes Not too shabby. Chicago. It did a decent job. Didn't end up with a quarterback. Although I think they re-signed Mitchell Trubisky though, because he was not a free agent. Bengals had an interesting draft by taking Kyle Pitts, but they sort of got back on track. They still only took one lineman. Meanwhile, the Bills took 2 guards with their first 2 picks. Interesting. Broncos came in with 270 plus players. That's solid. And they got this guy to 69 in the 4th round. They had a lot of picks too. Browns, Samuel Jr., Gainwell, which kind of was an unnecessary pick, but they did come away with a 69 overall in the 6th round. That's solid. A couple of late rat values. Bucks did a solid job. Arizona, not bad. They took a couple guys with start out names. Chargers, Jalen Waddle. I like what the Chargers did. Their top 4 is real solid. Chiefs. Terrence Marshall ended up being a pretty good pick. Normal dev though. And then they also got Tylan Wallace later, which I think was a good pick. And he's got hidden dev. So nice. So the Colts go Justin Fields and Kadarius Toney. Interesting pair up and left tackle. So Colts got themselves set up pretty well with their first couple picks. Dallas, Miami, our division. Wow. So Miami definitely nailed their first 2 picks in the 1st round. And they got a couple linemen in the 2nd round. Pass rusher in the 3rd. So Miami done well. Eagles came away with some decent players. Well, the Falcons. Falcons might be one of the biggest winners from the early parts. They get a day 1 starter on the line, and then probably a definitely starter for them at halfback here. Niners as well. Wow. They go Surtain and Harris, so they're probably going to be day 1 starters. To an already good, talented team. The Giants get 270 plus guys on defense. Add a running back behind Saquon and get a 69 overall guy in the 6th. That's a good value. Jags get 270 plus. Get the best player in the class, of course, at number 1. Wow, they got a couple of their 70s here later. The Jaguars added some real talent here in the draft. They might be the winners so far. And the Jets too. That's right. They got Mac Jones at a massive discount. They took one of the best safeties in the class. They got a pass rusher. They got the best receiver in the draft. Jets did well in our against us in our division here. Like what the Lions did with their first 3 picks. Ooh. Green Bay might be looking like one of the more disappointing draft groups there. So there you have it. There's the runaround on the draft there. So we are approaching the 2-hour mark. So once again, I'm not sure that we'll get to where I wanted to, but here's Zach Wilson now in a Patriots uniform. If you want to see him a little closer in like his full equipment. There he is. There's Javian Hawkins joining this running back group. There's our man Rondale Moore, who kind of slots in at the very least as your 4th receiver. There he is. He kind of reminds me of like someone like like either a Golden Tate, Percy Harvin type of player. I think that's where he'll be really fun to use. Tight end we didn't draft. We didn't actually end up drafting any offensive linemen. We do go Jaquan Bailey here at this end, so that's where a speed rusher is. So this side is run stopper. So I think we'll move Bailey to the left because he'll be much closer to a scheme fit as a run stopper, or like, you know, maybe more like a pass rusher. Okay, so we're going to move him there. And then we're probably going to go ahead and bring in, there's Bobby Brown fitting in at DT. And then we're probably going to go ahead and move Rumpf over to right end. To serve as an understudy behind Jerry Hughes. Not sure why Stevens has bad morale already, but so there's Rumpf fitting in at right end. There we are. All right, and at corner, I don't think we ended up taking anybody. We did not. So that's what we're still looking at, the same guys there. We got LeCount now at receiver. Or sorry, safety. And that's what the team looks like here. Post-draft, so we're gonna go ahead and advance to preseason week 1, and we'll go ahead and just see, maybe go through and see what kind of guys we want to add. We got more offers for Gilmore. I will keep him on the block just because he's in the last year of his contract, but it doesn't appear as if I'm going to get top end value. The best I'm getting is like second round offers, and they're like not even going to be for the next draft. Again, they're going to be like future, so again, just terrible offers there. So let's really quick take a look at first any of the free agents that were picked up, that were available, that maybe joined other teams. So let's see if there's any big names out here that joined. Bears made a ton of signings. None that really are standing out to me though so far. Bills. So Fitzmagic joins Denver. There's one QB signing. I gotta think the Saints signed somebody. So T.Y. Hilton joins Cleveland. Probably as a number 3 receiver too. So that's interesting. Marcus Cannon goes to Tampa. Marvin Jones goes to Tampa Bay as well. Kind of basically ends up being a replacement for Antonio Brown. Goes for nothing either. Okay, Chargers. They get Ryan Suckup at kicker. So the Chiefs go and add Jesse James and Jared Cook at tight end. With Travis Kelce there, of course, already. So, Kerry Hyder was one of the bigger pass rushers out there. He goes to the Colts. And Danico Autry also to the Colts. Dallas, all right. Eagles get Matt Prater. Jordan Reed goes to Atlanta, as does Gerald Everett. So Everett and Reed go to Atlanta, and they already have Hayden Hurst, so wowzers. Okay. Interesting. Tyler Croft gets a massive deal from Giants for some reason, and Matt Breida too, $2.3 million. Wow. Pernell McPhee goes to Jacksonville. Trent Murphy as well. Will Lutz is now in the Jets. One of the better kickers that were still available. K'Waun Williams. He was one of the better corners. He goes to Detroit. Damian Williams too. Real quick, just need to check my phone here. Green Bay, no one real notable. And that's me, so we'll take a look and see what else is left out there after the computer usually gets the first crack at signing guys. We're approaching the Saints, so that's honestly the team I'm most intrigued to see if they brought in a quarterback. PJ Wilson, Carl Nassib, Tyson Alutha was one of the better guys. Gus Edwards rejoins the Ravens on a 1-year, $3 million deal. Danny Trevathan to the football team, and Cam Newton goes to Washington. So does that mean Jameis Winston ends up going back to New Orleans? We haven't seen him. It's Nick Mullins. The Saints have only signed Nick Mullins. So I believe that would indicate that Nick Mullins is going to be, as of right now, the starting quarterback of the New Orleans Saints. Wow, the Steelers get Tyler Bowser and Darrell Williams on really cheap deals. Winston goes to Houston, where he is a clear backup to Deshaun Watson. So, wow. Absolutely stunning. All right, well, that's really it. It's Micah Iupati to Minnesota. That's it for who got signed. So I guess for us, we'll take a look. I think we're going to want to bring in a QB here. So right now we got Zach Wilson and Jarrett Stidham on the roster. So I think it makes a lot of sense to bring Jacoby Brissett on board. He's been with the Patriots before. So I think that makes a lot of sense. We'll bring him back to the team. Running back. A couple of undrafted guys that are available out here. Or do we bring in like a veteran? I don't know. I think there's a lot of decisions still to be made here, so I don't think I'll go really in depth here because we are right at the 2 hour, just now over the 2 hour marker. So I think I will be probably looking to wrap up the stream here soon. Very soon I would probably actually add. Just seeing if there's any definite players I would like to add. Now, while we're here, actually, I do have a lot of interest in a guy like Porter Gustin. He's still young and a 70 overall. So I think I definitely I'm going to add him to the team. I think I'll also add a guy like Tyquan Lewis. Another young defensive tackle that's available, so I'm going to bring him on. No one ever picked up Shaquem Griffin, huh? I can't believe Clay Matthews is still like existing in this league realm. All right. None of the corners got picked up, huh? That's crazy. If we needed a corner, man, we'd be in luck to add somebody. Alright, I think that's really going to be it for now. I might just check on some undrafted guys. Like undrafted rookies that we could look into bringing aboard. Just really quick while we're looking through. Well, here's an intriguing undrafted safety, James Wiggins out of Cincinnati. He's a 69. I think we'll definitely bring him on as our first undrafted free agent signing. Then we got Michael Jones, a receiver, 68 overall. Interesting power rusher here. I like his measurables. Yeah, that's a solid foundation. We'll bring on Chauncey Golson. And then I like this tight end here, Luke Farrell. Drafted out of Ohio State. We'll bring him on. And how about this for a slot guy? Austin Trammell. Eesh. Definitely has a lot of work. There needs a lot of work, but whoops. All right. I think that's gonna be it for now, though. We may come back to this on the next stream, but I think that's gonna be it. We will put a stop there to the stream. So, unfortunately, didn't get through where I was hoping to, but that's okay. We have plenty of time as we go through this Patriots franchise. So that is going to be it for today. Thank you all for being here with me and going through the NFL draft. So I feel like we're on our way here with this new era Patriots squad. Zach Wilson, Rondale Moore, our top 2 picks. Feeling really good about those 2 guys for the future of the Patriots here. And so next time we'll pick up from here. Probably hope to get through the finish out, adding some more players to the team because we can add up to 13 more guys. So might look into, who else we want to add as undrafted free agents or veterans to see, who can compete in the preseason to then make the final roster. So that'll probably be what our next episode will be. We'll be getting through the preseason, making the final roster, getting everything in shape, and then we'll begin the regular season. I will probably, like I said, look to play week 1. So for a sneak peek of that really quick, let's take a look at what's going to be our schedule this year. So week 1 would be a matchup with the Jets. In New York, as we know, they added a lot of people. Or we could play Tampa Bay at home. That's going to be a Tom Brady reunion. Wow. This is a very intriguing. Then we get the Jags, who just added Lawrence this year. So this is an interesting schedule. But if we do go ahead and end up playing the Jets in the next episode live, let's take just a quick peek at how the Jets team ends up looking now. So obviously we know what they did at quarterback. It's Darnold, Mac Jones, Kaepernick. So an interesting room there. They brought in Kenyon Drake as a free agent. That's right. Drafted Zamir White. At receiver, I know they brought someone in. That's right. They drafted Jamar Chase 2nd overall. So it's Crowder, Chase, probably Mims. Interesting trio. Not much added at tight end. Still Herndon. Offensive line looks as such. On defense, I think the Jets are a 3-4 team, and I also will do this probably on my own time, is make sure that any teams that change schemes or drafted guys, I'll make sure they are in their appropriate spot. So like, for example, I may for the Jets have to move like a guy like this to the middle because he's not an edge rusher, and the Jets are in a 3-4. Like Basham might have to be an outside linebacker in a 3-4. So stuff like that, I'll just make sure that because the CPU really won't do that stuff. Make sure that guys are where they should be. That's right, they added William Jackson. The Jets all of a sudden have a okay corner set up. They added Ngakoue too. That's right, they added Marcus Williams. They drafted Javon Holland. They have Ashton Davis already, and they signed Tony Jefferson. And so the Jets went nuts at safety here and free agency in the draft. And then they added Will Lutz to be the new kicker. So I definitely think the Jets added more talent and have got a better team. I still don't think they're going to be there yet, but interesting. So that's a sneak peek of what could be ahead here if we play the Jets, or if we want to send that and play against Tampa Bay next episode. That would be great too. So let me know what you guys think about that. If you want to see me play Week 1 debut against the Jets, or if you want to see me sim that and then play Week 2 at home against Tom Brady, a welcome back to New England game for Brady and the defending champ Bucs. That would be something else. So let me know what you think in the comments. The next stream will probably be on Thursday. But otherwise, that's going to do it for tonight. Again, thank you everyone for watching. If you joined or watched later, or if you joined it on the stream, I should say, live, please leave a like before leaving. We'd greatly appreciate it. If you watch at any point on the replay, a video, the archived video on my channel, please be sure to leave a like on it. Definitely appreciate that, and subscribe to my channel for more here in the Patriots franchise as we move along. So you guys all have a great night. Thank you for watching. We'll see you soon.